What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Thoughts Not Facts morning show with your host, Kevin.
And Jennifer.
I'm TK's Garage 405.
And I am free and on the road.
Thanks for watching again. Appreciate it. We're trying to do a little draw right now here, a giveaway on Instagram. We're kind of sharing around. If you're following, you're a new subscriber. You have a chance to get in and win a $100 Amazon gift card. So
yeah. So just make sure you subscribe to our channel, check out our personal Instagrams there, and like us on there so we know that you're subscribing. If you leave a comment, that helps as well because we know who you are and we know that you have actually subscribed. Sometimes we don't see the actual subscriber name unless you comment. So leave us a comment and let us know so we can keep track of everybody who's following us and joining along on this journey as we grow.
Yeah, so appreciate you guys watching. I guess today we're going to talk a little about Route 66, but first we have to try out a new beer here. Another one of those. I'm sitting on that's probably loud in this. Sorry about that. Anyways, it must have been sitting on the shelf because it was kind of gross before. She bought a bunch of individual ones. So this is a new one. I haven't tried this brewery before. It's called Spindle Tap Brewery Local Premium Light Lager. It's only 96 calories, 4 carbs. It's out of Houston, Texas. Cool. It's just a little
low cal. I didn't realize it was low cal until now.
Yeah. I don't know how many percent it's what I was looking for. Doesn't say. I'm assuming it's probably 4 or 4.5. Or if it's like the beer we drank the other day, 0.
While he's tasting this, I'll tell you, we went out to a concert and we were ordering beer from the brewery there, or the bar there, and we neither of us felt anything, and we're pretty sure it was 0% alcohol beer.
Well, we paid a lot for it, but I never had it where I could drink like 5 beer and just feel like you just drank Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it was nothing. Anyway, how's it taste?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Right.
All right.
It's a very nice, smooth beer. It doesn't have like that Mexican beer kind of flavor. It's just more
this is not my favorite kind of beer.
No? Mm-mm. It's just smooth drinking to me.
It's smooth drinking.
It's not a lager. It's more of like that.
It has that. I don't know. You always like those ones that have that back flavor that I don't know how to put my finger on, but it has like that back flavor that's not my favorite. I don't really care.
Like I said, it's not. It wouldn't be like something. I don't know. When I get something I really, really like, I have a hard time breaking away from it, but pretty good.
No, it's pretty good. It's a nice light beer. It's crisp. It doesn't have.
If we were out drinking, we would.
Oh yeah, I could definitely drink that if we're out drinking. It's an easy drink, easy taste. It's not hard. It's not a hard flavor.
There's no hops in it. It's very flat, but it's trying to think what it compares to. Not quite Corona. It doesn't have like a.
No, it doesn't have a Corona. It doesn't have that Mexican flavor. No. It's a light lager. You can tell it's like has like a light lagery. I'm trying to remember like what we drank recently that it reminds me of, but I can't like think of anything off the top of my head.
It's only 4% alcohol.
So it's nice and light, and it's
pretty good.
It's low in calories, so I mean that is always helpful.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so back to Route 66. We're going to talk about places that we've been to. I've traveled through a lot of places. We've traveled through a lot of places. We've stopped and seen a lot of things. But it's actually. I think that's actually one of the coolest things around the U.S. here to see. There's just a lot of things, and a lot of times you just kind of come across it without really realizing that.
And a lot of times we didn't know we were on like the Route 66 because a lot of highways kind of like have overbuilt over it, and you don't really realize because it's not the same as what it was originally. It used to be you could drive the whole Route 66 from beginning to end, but now there's like breakups with other highways because there's so many other interstates. So it's different now than it used to, like back in the 20s when they actually created it.
There's not tons of the original part of it left, right?
Yes, that's
so that makes it. So the parts that are left is actually really cool to see. There's still, it's like really kind of weird actually. It's like almost like eerie kind of when you go through like New Mexico and Arizona. There's like places that were part of that are still there, but they've been abandoned for like 50 years. And then people are maybe like tagging them or whatever, like they're, vandalizing, spraying on them with paint or whatever, like that kind of stuff. So but it's just weird. It's just kind of weird. It'll be like the middle of nowhere and you'll be like, 100 miles from anything and there'll just be some random building or old gas station that's kind of not there anymore or whatever. So, yeah.
So just a little history. Route 66 started in 1926 was when it originally started. And it actually started because it was the end of like the World War. And it was during during the Great Depression times, and they were trying to get the economy to build back up and get people to travel. It was when travel restrictions, because there was a lot of travel restrictions during the war, and it was when travel restrictions got released, so people could actually travel more, and they were encouraged people to see their own country. So before we started this episode, I decided to look into a little bit of history about it, because I think that kind of stuff to me is really cool. So it does cover 2,400 miles across 2/3 of the continent. So it does cover a vast majority of the actual continent. It goes from Lake Michigan across Illinois through the Ozarks in Missouri. It actually goes through the mining towns in Kansas, across Oklahoma woodlands, all the way through the ranches of Texas, and the enchanted mesa lands of both New Mexico and Arizona, and then to the Mojave Desert, which is in California, and then finally the metropolis of LA and the shores of the Pacific. So there's a long range of area that it goes to. And before Kevin and I met, I've been through a lot of Route 66 down through Arizona and California, and seen a lot of I think I went through the Joshua Tree forest and things like that. There's a lot of different cool things to see along the way, but he's also seen a lot of stuff on the road himself.
Yeah, so we took a cruise one time. We were in California. That's sort of where we started seeing a lot of this. We were talking about it earlier. It was in Baker, California, the
Mojave Desert.
Yeah. There's an actual name for it though.
It's a Mojave Desert.
Okay. Anyway, so there's that. But yeah, and then we started kind of going
National Reserve.
Sorry. It was slipping my mind there. I couldn't remember the name. But anyways, yeah. And so from there we started going east. I stopped a few times. Actually, the last time I was through there, and I hadn't really stopped in some places I really wanted to for a long time. In the Amarillo, Texas, yeah, there's like a big area for it. They have the Cadillac Ranch there, which is really cool. I've driven by it a million times, wanted to go see it, so I finally did. And yeah, it's pretty cool. They have like these Cadillacs like wedged into the ground, and they're just covered in dirt halfway up. But some of the axles you can still turn if you turn the wheels, and they're just like covered in paint. Like a wheel that would be this big is like this big with the paint. It's crazy. And everybody that comes, they sell paint at the gate, and you just go spray some more paint on it or whatever. So it's a pretty big tourist attraction there. Just around the corner from that, there's a little tourist booth there and whatnot, and they've got some pink Cadillacs and some Cadillacs in the front there. There's a campground right around there in that same area. And then right in Amarillo there, the big Texan restaurant there, that's actually a really big tourist destination. They had amazing food there, like unreal. I've had some friends that have gone there before, and they really liked it too. So yeah, those some of the main things. I actually sort of by accident, and it's kind of weird how Route 66 kind of runs there, but up northwest Oklahoma, I was just cruising one day, and I was like, man, there's like all these cool things, and I started seeing all these like signs for Route 66, and it was like these old dealerships and things that had been shut down, and some of them were actually the guys that bought, and they were storing their own classic cars in it, which is pretty cool. Like, yeah, it was very neat. So
what was interesting to me when I was kind of learning the history about Route 66 was that in 1985, they actually shut down Route 66 as a main highway because they built all of these interstates. So they built the I-55, the I-44, the I-15, and the I-10, and it actually kind of made Route 66 non-existent anymore. And a lot of these companies that thrived, like their business thrived because Route 66, they opened gas stations, they opened steakhouses, like a lot of these places that you go to now, even a lot of places we've been to, is like you said, it's deserted. Mm-hmm. And it's because it's not a main thoroughfare anymore because all of these new interstates. So even like a lot of the ones that we kind of looked up, it's interesting when you look them up, the sites are off the main route. So you have to now go like off the main route to go see Route 6. Like you have to kind of go out of your way to see a lot of this stuff. Some of the stuff is still on the interstate, but a lot of it, like Route 66 kind of dips off where the interstate is.
Yeah, it wasn't, I think, like when you kind of look at the original map, it was sort of a little kind of all over or whatever, but it was supposed to be, I think, the main thoroughfare when they kind of built that road from
the coast to Michigan.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Was it Michigan or Chicago?
Oh, maybe Chicago. Well, it goes Lake Michigan in Chicago. Yes, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah, so.
You're right.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, there's some cool things to see along the way there. We kind of a lot of things we've seen there. There's kind of, if you take the main highway, I guess if you were to go from like Southern California to pretty much Texas along that way, there's a lot of things to see along there. Like a lot of the things we just sort of found by accident. One of them was we were cruising through, I think, looking for gas in Winslow, Arizona there, and it's the Eagles sign where it's the standing on a corner, the sign says, or whatever, and that's the Eagles, the Eagle song. It's funny because I didn't realize that. The other day I was looking through some social media stuff and somebody posted it and I was like, what? And I've seen it like probably 15 times. And I didn't really clue into what it was about, yeah. Right? So they had that. Klein's Corner is a big one there. If you go out there, they have like just a massive, like basically gas station tourist kind of trap, whatever. But their sign is supposed to be one of the oldest signs, one of the most popular signs around. Pretty expensive to stop there, but pretty cool. Pretty cool to check out. Other things that we've seen along the way.
There's a lot of things we've seen, even just like not necessarily driving Route 66, but then we find it and we're like, oh, look, this is on the route to Route 66. So we've been to like the Santa Monica Pier, yeah. And we've done that, and that's along the route. In Baker, California, not Baker. Where's the one that has, it's Arizona, that has the Wigwam Hotel?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And our kids love it because it's like the Cars theme. So if anybody is born today, they should have heard of the Cars movie. But if you have boys, especially boys that are teenagers, you would have had them kids when they were little. So when we drove through there, our kids were just ecstatic because it had they had a tomato truck out there, and I think they had a Cars.
There was a whole bunch of like kind of the cars from the show. We sort of drove by it by accident looking for gas, and we're like, what? How come that was like the tomato truck or whatever? So we went back to look at that, and then we're like, wait a minute, there's all these like cabins that were like teepees, right? And there's, I don't know, there's probably maybe a dozen of them or something like that. And that's what it is. It's like they have like, I don't know, there was a Cutlass there. I don't know if that was part of the show or not. I honestly haven't seen it enough times. You probably do, but there was a whole bunch of like the cars that were actually from the show that they had kind of set out there or whatever. So it's pretty cool to see. We actually had talked about like we should stay there sometime just to kind of for the experience or whatever.
I don't know if that one's actually open because it kind of looked like it was closed down, but then
yeah, supposedly it is.
It is open because we were looking online before we did the show about different facts about Route 66, and we found out there was another Wigwam Hotel. I didn't write down where it was located, but there is another Wigwam Hotel on the Route 66 as well.
Yeah, it looked pretty snazzy, that one.
Yeah, that one looked like it was a pretty snazzy one. So that was kind of cool to find out that there actually is more than one of those out there, because we never knew that before, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we've done a little bit of research there. We're just kind of looking at places where we wanted to, I guess, go and see. And there's actually a lot in Oklahoma here that some of them I've seen on some car shows, and I didn't really put the two and two together here. But there's a hole-in-the-wall Conoco station. If I'm remembering right, I believe that's the very first and the last Conoco station that was from like that era. But it was, I believe it was the first Conoco station ever built in Oklahoma. And supposedly somewhere around that same area, there's actually another one that was built around the same area that's still operating. So pretty cool. What else there? The El Rancho Motel we passed by in Arizona there. That was there's so many. Like, I mean, with all the states that there is, it's just like overwhelming with the amount of play. I mean, honestly, I bet you could spend a whole year and you probably wouldn't see them all.
No, you probably. I mean, you can drive by it all, but you wouldn't be able to experience or see it all. It was really cool because we were doing a lot of research beforehand just to kind of see stuff that we haven't seen. And there is a museum actually here in Oklahoma. There's a Route 66 museum. And then in Illinois, there's actually a Route 66. It's like a
state park.
Was it a state park? Is that what it was?
I believe that's supposed to be the most popular destination, apparently, which I've never even heard of.
Which is really cool because we've never actually done, like, we've been through Illinois area, but we've never done Route 66 in that area. So I think that's something we should experience that. That would be fun. Like, it's
sort of funny because sometimes you don't even know you're on it, which I didn't even know actually. The St. Louis Arch is a big one that's on Route 66, and I mean, I've seen that quite a few times now, but we saw it together, but we didn't put the two and two together that they were on Route 66. But it's such a long route, and a lot of it's not really well marked. Sometimes you'll see the odd Route 66 sign or something like that.
Or say like original Route 66, or
unless it's like some sort of tourist destination, then it'll obviously be put out there pretty loud. But yeah, seems like kind of when you go more into like Arizona, Texas, California, that stuff's not as thrown out there. I think like it's
I don't know. I
not
feel
as
like
well.
California has a lot of it. It just depends what area you're in. I don't think we did all of the Route 66 in California, but when you're in the right
Yeah,
areas, I think that they have it marked. It's interesting because I remember doing Route 66 in California when we drove one time. Because before I met you, we went through Vegas and then Arizona, so we could actually take the Route 66 down. And there's a portion of it in California that you don't even know you're on the Route 66. Like we were like, weren't even sure if we were on it, to be honest, because it's not well marked. You're right. There's like a lot of areas that aren't well marked unless you know where you're going or what you're going on.
yeah. There's supposedly a back road section you can go pretty much from Vegas to California, and that's just the actual original part of it. And I don't think I've ever been on that, as far as I know. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that
that's
was
some
the route we
super cool
took, and
things.
it's not marked. Like you have to know where you're going. Actually, like when you're doing it, you have to know where you're going.
Yeah, so the hole in the wall conical gas stations in Commerce, Oklahoma. There, that's something we'd like to check out. Proline service station there. It's in Hydro, Oklahoma, I believe. That's supposed to be something kind of neat to see. There's a section of road there that they kind of show it. I've actually never heard of this until we started doing some research, but it looked cool now. So it's in Oklahoma. Might check it out. But it's called the 9 foot wide Route 66 Ribbon Road in Miami, Oklahoma. Um, Super cool. It's just like it looks like a 1 lane highway almost, and they've actually got it marked out Route 66 on it. I don't know how far it goes for, maybe just a little section or something like that, but that'd be kind of cool to check
That'd be
out.
really cool.
Yeah, so just something that's kind of original like that. And then there's a old service station that's like an abandoned. It's I think at one time it was like a full, probably had a bunch of everything. It was a gas station with a whole bunch of little frilly things attached to it, and it's still standing, but it's called the 1930s Avon Court in Afton, Oklahoma. That one looks like it's really cool too. Check out. Just I don't know. I just find all that history stuff pretty interesting. Just basically go and just take some pictures, and it's cool if you have like an old cool car or something. You can take some pictures in front of it or
Yeah.
whatever and things like that. But yeah,
It's
so
interesting how so many of those places aren't in business anymore because of these freeways. Like we've even talked about that in
yeah,
other parts of
yeah,
even Canada, how when they build freeways, sometimes they bypass towns and then it hurts the economy of those towns or hurts the economy of that area.
yeah,
Right. And that's interesting to me. Like when you go on the actual route, how it's almost abandoned. Like there's so much of it that is like so like even Cadillac Ranch is kind of an abandoned area, right?
yes, I agree.
So we did see that. We didn't really talk about it, but like the Twin Arrows in Arizona, that was another place that we saw where the Twin Arrows.
Oh yes,
Yep,
yes, I did forget. So
yep.
there, man, there's been so many things. Kingman was another one that had. I think that was the El Rancho Motel, but there's some other things around that area too. Kingman's kind of a sort of a weird area there.
It
Hey,
is kind of weird, but it's a big
okay.
part of the Route 66 song. So I mean, if you're gonna get your kicks on Route 66, you have to go through Kingman.
No, that's Winslow.
No, it's Kingman.
Oh, you're
In
right.
this song,
Yes,
it's Kingman, Arizona.
you're right.
Yeah,
You're
I
right. You're
know.
right.
I'm gonna play that song so you guys all know I'm right.
Wow.
Did you guys hear that? It's on film. He said I was right.
Just for the record, this is like a really carbonated beer, so this is one of those. If you drank like two or three of them, you'd be all bloated up.
It's a good thing you're finishing it off for
Yeah,
us
it's
then.
like super, super,
Because if
super.
I were drinking it, I'd probably be burping every 2 seconds, and then you wouldn't be able to hear me talk.
Yeah. Another thing that was right around Holbrook area there was the it was the forest, the
Oh, petrified.
yeah, petrified forest around there, and there's actually some places. Man, sorry, I'm drawing a blank here, but anyways, there's some places around there that they actually have petrified wood that they sell. It's like weird. It kind of looks like rocks actually.
It's really cool.
But yeah,
Yeah.
there's some really cool things around there to see. Holbrook area actually has quite a bit. Grants.
Well, Arizona has lots. They have along. If you drive it through Arizona, you see the painted. I think it's called the painted forest or the painted rocks, and it's just beautiful. It's like mountains of red through Arizona, and that's really cool when you drive through that part of Arizona as well. So I mean, if you
Apparently, the Grand Canyon is part of the
Well,
Route
it is.
66
And,
too, which I've never been there.
We've traveled many places, and I don't know why we've never gone there.
I have no idea either.
We've been to so many places. It's interesting. Like we go to so many random, crazy, off the path, like off the beaten path places. But then when it's like the big things, like Grand Canyon, we've probably driven by it 20 times and never been to it.
I had a friend years ago. They took a bus ride out there, and it was like a whole day ordeal, and blah blah blah. Of course, they're in Vegas, and so they're doing all the things right. And they get out there after this, like driving out. I think it took them like 5 hours to get out there, or something crazy. By the time they did all their stops or whatever, and they get off the bus, and she says, she looks off, she says, "You guys wasted one whole day of mine for an effing hole in the ground." There's all sorts of different ways you can do it, though. There's actually, I think, if you were going to do something like that, it'd be cool to do like they do like a helicopter ride where they drop you off in a helicopter and then you ride a horse for like a little bit and then you take a there's like they do like a rafting thing and then you stop for a picnic and then you kind of end up at the Grand Canyon and there. But I think something like that
would be really fun
because
you can experience it than just seeing it. Yeah, we're more about doing experience things than just seeing things.
That's like, right. Yeah. I think you could probably do one or the other. You don't have to do them all or whatever, but something like that would be cool. I think
the horseback riding would be really cool.
Yeah, I think
that'd be really fun.
But yeah, so anyways, that's kind of what we were going to talk about here today, I think. I don't know.
So we think it's time for the dad joke
day. All right. Singing in the shower is fun until you get soap in your mouth. Then it's a soap opera.
Sometimes they're so good, they're so bad they're good.
Wow. Oh yeah.
Well, your Oklahoma of the facts. The Oklahoma
fact of the day.
Yes, exactly. Is relating to Route 66. So Route 66 has actually the most amount of miles in Oklahoma. So when we were looking things up today, it was really cool because there were so many things in Oklahoma that we can actually see. So we will be exploring that. Maybe we can do like a on the road with thoughts not facts on the Route 66. That'd be kind of cool. Show you guys some of that stuff. So I know we'll be exploring that because we do have so many miles of it here.
We want to change it up a little bit. We're thinking, we've been talking about it for a while actually, but all this stuff costs money, so we need to get at least some sort of a Bluetooth mic or something. We want to actually get out and kind of do a little bit of talking to some people in the streets and like things like that, and kind of talk about kind of some of the things that we talk about here, but maybe get somebody else's idea on it and things like that. So if you guys want to see something a little bit different or whatever, let us know. But that's kind of what we're thinking. We're going to incorporate in here a little bit, just change it up. I know sometimes just watching us talk here gets stagnant, so we're kind of thinking of different ways that we can kind of perk it up a little bit and just change it up and make something that's you guys are interested in watching. So anyways, guys, I think that's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
All right. Have a great day.
Thanks.